Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Bold Badass Business Show, Business Owner Show, where today I am super thrilled to have the daring, the one of a kind, the Ninja Network building skills expert, Daniel Andrews. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Very glad to be here.
Really glad you're here. And we're on actually both on the East Coast, and you're not that far away. So this is
No, it's a
great,
beautiful
right?
thing. You
It's a
network your way
beautiful
around
thing.
the
You're
nation
like
and come back to the state next door, right? It's pretty awesome.
there you go. Yeah, you're just a state away. Well, listen, and sometimes people are all continents away. So it's great to have you here. And everybody, you want to find out today what Daniel is going to lay down here, which is why referral fees are killing your business. And Daniel, would you show them our prop? This is very special. Check
Wow.
this out, y'all.
There you go.
Whoa! Whoa! That just puts Excalibur to shame. That's all I have to say, Daniel. Like that, I do not want to meet up with you on a dark alley with that thing. That's for sure.
No.
Man, so why referral fees are killing your business, and hence the sword. And we're just going to have a great time this afternoon, you all. You want to make sure, by the way, people, make comments. Let us know what you like. We love hearts. Tell us what you like. Give us the hearts, and we will shout out to you when you make a comment. So go ahead, Daniel, tell us something. Why is this topic so very important for business owners? What do you see them doing that is just slimy and messy and ruining their businesses?
Well, okay. Queen of hyperbole, right? So I want to structure this in, right? I talk a lot about what people need to be doing right in order to build effective, long-lasting, durable business relationships. Right. And that's the theme. Most of the places I show up, people say, what's your name of your talk? I say, stop networking, or as I call it, stop networking and start building relationships that matter. And Barnsley and I have communicated about this. We agree on a whole lot of stuff. And the flip side of that is, though, what's not working, right? You have to pay attention to what's not working, and you have to stop what's not working. So when I said queen of hyperbole, I don't think it's slimy. I think it's well-intentioned. And that is the things that sneak up on us, right? Meaning if people are doing the wrong thing, they're either the sort of people that it's going to gnaw at them eventually and they'll stop, or they're the wrong people and they're going to keep on doing the wrong thing forever, right? If they know it's the wrong thing. But what people aren't aware of is the things that they're doing from the right place that are not getting them the results they want. Right. And so that's what I want to bring
I like that distinction. Let's pause for a second, because that's a great distinction. Like their hearts are in the right, what I'm hearing, let me know, is this right? Their hearts are in the right place, but what they're doing is just undercutting those great intentions they have. Is that right?
Yep. That's correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got some viewers here, y'all. Come on now, give us some hearts. Give us some hearts. We love the hearts. We love to hear from you. You get a shout out when you comment. We ain't shouting you out unless you comment.
That's right.
Right,
and if
Daniel?
You're on my Facebook webpage, go over to Barnsley Browns, where you can make more comments and we can see them all, because I don't think we can see them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got to go over to my Facebook
So
page,
exit mine and go to hers, right?
Facebook.com/Dr. Barnsley. Okay. Facebook.com/Dr. Barnsley. All right. So Daniel, let's hop in here, because, people are well-intentioned, and what they're doing, they may have no idea it's ineffective.
Why it's working against them, right? Meaning what they're putting out isn't being received in the way that they want it to be received. And I really want to start with kind of, as it were, the summary or the proof. And that is this, right? People go, well, I think they work. I'm like, see, I don't like to think. I try to think as little as possible. It is unnatural, by the way. Most people do as little thinking as possible. Lest you think I'm a cynic, consider your experience on the roadways of America. Okay. Anyway, back to the point. I try to have data. I try to have very few opinions, and I label them as opinions when they're opinions. But I love to work with data, and I love to work with what we know works and what doesn't work. And the proof, in a very broad sense, that finder's fees are killing your relationships and hurting your business, is that we're not all rich. from getting too many business referred to us and too many finder's fees paid to us for all the business we referred to other people, right? I'm not saying they're never appropriate, but they are appropriate in a way less percentage of places than you think you are. Probably 0.1, 0.2, 0.3% of cases actually justify a finder's fee. And I don't mean any particular deal. I mean your industry, your approach to business, your model, right? And I'm not saying they never apply. I'm saying they're not obviously the universal answer. And if you're sitting over there thinking, oh, well, I'm one of the exceptions. No, you're probably not. Okay. Statistically speaking, don't know who's listening, so I don't know if I'm right or wrong there, but statistically speaking, no, you're probably not one of the exceptions.
Let me pause you, Daniel, because I'll tell you what. Now, tell me something. Are you originally from the South?
I am.
Because you are talking as fast as those daggone Yankees, my friend. So I got to tell you, I'm like, okay, come on up closer to the microphone. Because we need them to hear every bit of the wisdom you're laying down, and none of this. We're not going to run through this. Let's talk like Southerners.
I can talk like I'm from South Carolina if you want me to.
From South Carolina.
My father has been.
Are you from Beaufort?
No, I'm not. My dad has accused me of being the fastest talking Southern boy he's ever met.
You are a fast talker. I never noticed that before. I can pace it. Is anybody else having a hard time keeping up? Y'all put a comment over here because I'm like,
I get exuberant.
All right. So what you're saying is that 0.1, 0.2, 0.3%. I mean, we'd all be rich if finder's fees were working for us.
If it was effective, right? And
so let me ask you this. How do you define a finder's fee? Give us a slow definition, if you would.
Legitimate, right? I think you can sort shared revenue broadly into three categories. And one is an affiliate fee, right? I met an individual recently. I was looking for a review on a particular product, which happens to be sitting over here on my desk because I bought it, right? I needed to find out how to use it better. And he talked about the pros and cons of this particular product. And he said, if you decide it's right for you, I produce these videos on YouTube for free. All I ask you to go to the bottom, click the link, have an affiliate, link with Amazon. You don't pay any more for it, but it puts a few pennies in my pocket for doing the marketing. I think that's a legitimate way to make a business, right? Make a living. And I'm fine with that. When I say that, I'm fine with that. What I mean is I don't think it violates any psychological, philosophical, or social principles. It's very common and accepted. Mm-hmm. The other end of that is co-creation, right? Co-creation. You and I had an audience. You had a modality of information you wanted. We invited some other people into that, right? We co-created, and there was a revenue share, mm-hmm. right? And that's appropriate because we both brought part of this to the equation. I brought the majority of the audience. You brought the majority of the material, right? So there was mm-hmm. a revenue share in that concept. And when I say I brought the audience, I didn't market to my audience. I had an audience. People had already paid me money for what I do, and I invited her to come speak to them. And I knew it would be.
But I sold tickets. You remember, Daniel?
Right. I know, but I'm just saying that I did, and I sold some tickets too because it's there. Yeah. But I'm saying when I say I brought the audience, I didn't mean
you had an audience.
Right. Meaning the space that you were coming into was going to be full with or without the tickets that you and I both sold. That's joint. That's a true joint venture or co-creation. But I hear the phrase JV.
Capturing this over here. So let me pause you for a second. All right. Come on up closer. Joint venture, because we want to hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So number one is
better for me in real time. I'm going to power up the headsets and see if that does a better job.
There you go. That's great. So types of revenue that we're talking about: number one, affiliate revenue; number two, co-creation, which is the true joint venture, which is an interesting distinction as well. And then number three, what's number three for us, Daniel?
Three would be some form of a finder's fee.
And how do you define that?
Yeah, and those are the ones that I have the objection to. All right, give me 1 second to jump the headsets over. Mike.
I think you actually are okay without the headsets as long as you sit a little forward.
Yeah, they jumped. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you better. Yeah. Okay, that's better.
It just takes a second.
Actually, okay, it's sort of lagging. So, well, we'll try it. So, number three, some form of finder's fee. How do you define a finder's fee? we can't hear you right now at all, Daniel. We can't hear you without those. Okay, you all, it's time for a commercial break while Daniel gets this figured out. So I have something exciting to tell everybody just while Daniel's getting that figured out. And that is on November 30th. I'm going to be having my first online workshop that is open and free for everybody. And it's called Stop Struggling in Your Business, the 7 little known action stoppers that are annihilating your business. All right. Yep. So you all mark 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern on November 30th on your calendar. Okay. Back to you, Daniel. You got it.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test
oh,
1, 2, 3.
Yay. Okay. You lean forward or I'm going to keep saying that. All right. I'm going to annoy you.
I'll lean in. I just
lean in like we're sitting here and we're gossiping.
Nobody's
right?
interested in a close up on Daniel Andrews. I can tell you that.
There you go. Daniel has beautiful blue eyes. Who would say yes? Give us a heart. All right, Daniel. So we got 3 types of revenue. And the one kind you don't like is the one with the some form of a finder's fee. And by finder's fee, you mean someone finds you a client or they recruit someone for you and you pay them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You have some form of, one-time cost, ongoing, pretty common in a world of, say IT services, right? IT consulting services, right? Hey, Dan, my average ticket runs, 300 to 1,000 a month. Most of my clients stay a couple of years, right? If you send me a new client, right, I'll send you 10% of that, for as long as they're a client, right? And what people are missing is that the right sort of person, you've pushed them away. And somebody with a mediocre approach to relationships and referrals are the ones that glom onto it. So they're not the ones that are approaching it in a way that's most beneficial to the world at large. I'm not making moral judgments here. I'm talking about what works and what doesn't work. Okay, that's all I'm talking about. But what you find is that, number one, it's the people that have got lesser networks that glom onto that, and they have lesser networks, but they have a transactional mindset. And then they'll start throwing medium to low quality leads and prospects at you because they're hoping something will stick and they'll see some form of profit. So it actually kind of muddies the water. But the right people are the people that will amplify your message because the message is worth amplifying, right? Is part of it. And the other part of that is that you are literally creating the feeling that you don't trust me enough to want to care enough about the success of your business to actually refer clients to you. You think the only way to get me to do that is to throw money at me, right? Here's a great example of one I didn't do wrong. Summertime morning, I've got a pair of new windshield wipers. Windshield wipers are harder to figure out than they should be. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm not an idiot, but I struggle with windshield wipers. All the brands, I've got all these adapters, and I'm like, why can't we just, for God's sake, make one type of, windshield wiper?
Universal windshield wipers.
Anyway, so I've got the garage door up because I don't want to be in the sun. I'm messing with it. I can't get. I'm very frustrated. A guy walking by that I do not know, walking his dog. I said,
"Slow down a little, Daniel. Slow down."
Sure. There's a guy walking by with his dog. I don't know him. And I shout out, "Do you know anything about windshield wipers?" And he goes, "Not much, but I'll try." And he ties his dog to my mailbox, right? And he walks up the sidewalk into the garage and he helps me figure it out. Now, at any point after he said, "Sure, I'll try," between there and his departure from my front yard, if I'd said, "Oh, by the way, here's $5 for helping me out," doesn't that just feel weird? Right? Now, on a practical level, it would make sense for him to take the $5. He's already committed he's already said he's willing to spend the time, right? Why not spend the time and walk away $5 richer?
But it makes him feel strange, doesn't it, if you do that?
It doesn't feel neighborly. It makes it, right.
Yeah.
It could have racial overtones, right? Well, here's what your time is worth, right? It could be really problematic. Right? And people miss the fact that what you think you're incentivizing people to do might not land the way you want it to. So
I love that. Wait a sec. This is a gem. What you think you're incentivizing people to do may not land at all with them. So I would say, I want to just add really quickly, you should know what incentivizes people. So maybe somebody's never going to want you to, they're just going to refer you people. And once in a while, when you send them some kind of tickets to their favorite show, they're going to never forget you, right? They're going to love you forever, but as a gift, not as like a transaction.
And as a matter of fact, I've got something on my screen. If I use that little present button, can I show one tab on my screen? Is that possible?
Yes, I hope so. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to choose
work.
present. Share.
Hey, who's
share
out
screen.
there while he's sharing? Let's see a comment or two. You get a shout out when you comment.
Okay, I'm going to come back in a second because it says 2 monitors. So I'm going to drag it to my other monitor. All right. Present, share screen.
So we got some quiet people on here. Well, I tell you what, Daniel, this is one of the reasons that technology is sometimes not our friend. Because we can, why don't you describe what you got on that screen?
Sure. Is it not showing?
No, it's not showing, but that's all good because now you get to exercise your masterly command of the English language.
Okay. I stopped running this survey a while back. I can start it again anytime, but occasionally I will announce an event. You know, I'm on Zoom, and as people trickle in before it starts, I'll say, hey, while you got a minute before we start, here's a 1-question survey. Here's the question. How do you most prefer to be recognized for a quality introduction? And then I give choices.
I love that.
Short text or email, letter or card, phone call. So that's 3 choices. So I gave 6 choices, it looks like. Gift or gift card. Cash, baby. This is choice number 5. Choice number 6, reciprocation, a quality introduction in return.
Whoa, now this is awesome. And welcome, Scott. You get a shout out, Scott. Thanks for being here. Scott. We got a comment from Scott. He says, great information. And you can go back to Scott.
Network and Action Group in Idaho. If you're anywhere in Idaho, talk to Scott Marker about hanging out with the right sort of people. He's a good guy. A lot of trust in Scott.
All right. And what does Scott do again?
He runs an organization called Network and Action, in Idaho. Yep.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Scott, we're really happy you're here. And here's the thing, this 1-question survey, how do you most prefer to be recognized for a quality introduction? I just love this. This is a gem because then you're asking that question to see what resonates with people. And give us the examples again, Daniel, so I can capture them in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. And keep in mind, this isn't something I ask people that are my referral partners. I ask this question to prove a point. And when I break down for you the responses in a minute, it's going to blow your mind and everybody's listening's mind because it surprised even me. So short text or email, right, was one form of recognition. Letter or card, because I don't want to leave out my friends in the send out card business, right? Trying to get them some volume, right? Phone call. Who wants a phone call anymore, right? I'm busy, too busy to pick up the phone. Gift or gift card. 5, I put cash, baby, just to be funny, but it's cash, right? Which is really the same.
I already put that in there.
Gift card.
Yeah.
And 6, option 6 is reciprocation, a quality introduction in return.
Love it. Got it in there. Put cash, baby, just as you said it. I had that earlier. So this is great because when we know that, then we can nourish the relationship in that way. And, Daniel, I have to just say really quickly, I used to have interns from UNC, go Heels, go Heels, go Heels. And just had to work that in. And these interns were fabulous. And I did pay them an honorarium, but I also would do little bonuses for them. One of them loved everything Renaissance. She loved Renaissance fairs. So I got her tickets to the Renaissance fair. And after that, I could never get rid of her, Daniel. I'm still in touch with her, still love her. I say that just being funny. She's fabulous.
Okay. So here's the key.
Stories.
Well, let me tell you what the survey results showed, by the way. This is the part that's really going to make your head blow, right? I'm not saying that's a bad question to ask individual referral partners. But the point isn't that you ask each person. The point is this is what the statistics show. Okay. Gift or gift card, 3.4% of the respondents. 3.4. Cash, 3.4% of the respondents. So together, that's less than 7%.
Whoa.
Reciprocation, equality, introduction, and return, 42.5%. If you add cash and gift together, you get 1/6, a 1-to-6 ratio from the people that simply want to have it reciprocated. Here's the other one that'll blow your mind. 42% said reciprocation. 40% and change said short text or email. Basically nothing at all.
40 what percent?
40.2. 40.2 said short text or email. They simply want to be acknowledged that they did it. That's it.
Amazing.
And so given that most people aren't going to respond to a cash offer, right? A finder's fee, right? And I can blow it up a little bigger and give you a really great illustration. It's a great story too, because it really happened. The one about the windshield wipers really happened, but I never offered him $5 because I know better, right? But the hypothetical was how it would have come across and landed wrong. Okay, so this is a great story to tell. Guy in my town, his name is Mike. He ran a staffing agency, and I don't mind pointing this out, even if there's people in my town that are listening, because I'm not going to use the last name, number one, and number two, he died a couple years later of a heart attack. So there's no reputation to mess with here. He came to me and he said, Dan, he came to me at an event where I was approachable, and he said, Daniel, you're interested in this territory to be the best at your skill set. And, I must have done something wrong, but I don't know what I did wrong. And he said, if I tell you what I did, will you tell me what I did wrong? And I said, Mike, I'll give it a shot. He said, fair enough. That's all I can ask. He said, I belong to a weekly leads group that has over 100 people in it. That's a whole nother story I could get on right there. I belong to a weekly leads group that has 100 people in it. And he said, 6 weeks ago, I stood up in front of the group and I said, if anybody can get me lunch with Billy Bob, don't remember him, Billy Bob, I'll give you $1,000. You don't have to give me the deal. Get me lunch with Billy Bob. I'll give you $1,000. And he said, I know of 5 people in the room that could have generated that connection for me. I know in a room that size, in a town this size, there were probably another 5 or 10, minimum of 10, probably 15 or more that could have made that happen. He said, it's been 6 weeks and I've not heard a word from anybody. What did I do wrong?
Powerful.
And I said, you're from up north, aren't you? And he said, yeah, I am. How'd you know? He said, it's easy. You insulted them.
Yeah.
And he said, what? I said, what's the best case scenario? They look greedy in front of their other
clients.
The other people in the room, right? I said, that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is they're the third one to call Billy Bob. By the time a day or two has gone by, I'm starting to wonder, because if he knew there were 10 people that could do it, then I know there's 9 others as well, if I'm one of them. And I said, so if I don't make that call in that minute, right, and we can all text during lunch, how do I know that someone didn't beat me to it? So I'm the third person to reach Billy Bob and I say, hey, Billy Bob, would you go to lunch with Mike? And Billy Bob goes, that's kind of weird. There's a lot of people invested in me going to lunch with Billy Bob. What's that about? And I go, well, Mike, Billy Bob, I guess I missed the bounty. So I guess it's okay to tell you.
Right? So I've got an alternative for everybody.
I want to hear it, but I'll tell you what my alternatives were for him too.
Tell us. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and get to the end of this point part of it, right? I said, I'm the third person to call Billy Bob, make the offer. Billy Bob says, what's this all about? And I confess that there's $1,000 bounty on lunch with Billy Bob. In Billy Bob's mind, who's entitled to sell Billy Bob's time? Billy Bob, not me, right? I'm selling his time. I'm collecting $1,000 because he went to lunch with Mike. I've hurt my reputation with Billy Bob. I've hurt the other 2 people that asked him and anybody that asked them after me. And I've totally messed up Billy Bob's opportunity to get in touch with Mike because, Billy Bob feels like Mike was going around behind him. Right. Okay. So I'll pause. So clearly, best case scenario, I look greedy in front of 99 other people. Worst case, I screw up a bunch of relationships. I'll pause there because I have my own alternatives for Mike. But what's your alternative? How would you recommend doing it?
Yeah, so here's the thing. If they want to do something really cool, they could invite the people who know Billy Bob and take everybody out to lunch with Billy Bob, with this person who wants to meet Billy Bob. Everybody go out to lunch together and have a networking lunch. It's going to cost a lot less than $1,000, and it's just a party. And we could say, I want to invite you because of what you your service that you offer. And I really want you to meet some other movers and shakers. And it doesn't even have to be from that leads group. Having a lunch and pulling everybody together, and that person who wants to meet Billy Bob and others can pick up the tab. That's perfect. Plus, it's a business write-off. That's just my thought.
Yes, he might not be able to pitch Billy Bob at that lunch, but he set himself up to get an office visit with Billy Bob or another lunch, and the two lunches together, still less than $1,000, right? Okay. That's
more trust.
So thank you. I had not thought of that one.
More trust, Daniel. More trust too.
Right.
Because none of us want to be pitched. I get really upset when I go to a lunch and I find like a folder in front of me that I'm supposed to fill out the stuff. I'm like, oh, hell no, that ain't happening. Are you kidding me? I didn't come here to be pitched, and I didn't come to pitch you. I came to find out what makes you tick and how I can help you. And anyway. So what about you?
Yeah, the two alternatives, I said to Mike, I said, look, if you've got $1,000 burning a hole in your pocket, I said, there's two ways you could have done this that would have been in much better service to yourself and the world and the people around you. I said, one method is to send an unsigned check to Billy Bob made out for $1,000. Make it out for $1,000, but don't put your signature on it. Don't even fill in the pay to line. Just write it out, date it, $1,000, for lunch with you, right? Reasons, right? You can leave the reason line blank. Put it in a cover letter and say, Billy Bob, if you will meet me for lunch at the start of lunch, before we enter the restaurant, I will meet you outside. I'll sign this check. You can make it out to whoever you want. Because if Billy Bob's time is worth $1,000, that's Billy Bob's call to make, not anybody else's, right? Okay. Now, what can Billy Bob do with the check? Put it in his bank account. What else can Billy Bob do with his check? Give it to his wife for a shopping spree, and he's a hero to her. Give it to his grandson that just finished high school, and he's the hero to his grandson and the grandson's parents. Give it to his granddaughter who's in college and struggling to pay the tuition, and be the hero to the granddaughter and the granddaughter's parents. Give it to the pastor. Pastor, you've been working hard all year. Pastor doesn't know that it had come directly from Billy. Well, yes, it technically did come directly from Billy Bob's pocket. So he could have put it in his pocket, right? He doesn't have to know it's found money. He could give it to the charity of his choice, and now he's a hero to more than one person. That's one option. Same $1,000. I said the other option, Mike, would be to stand up in front of your group of 100 people, because if they do lunch, there's a lunch fee, probably $10 a person, and say, if anybody in this room gets me lunch with Billy Bob, I'll buy everybody in the room lunch at the next weekly meeting. And
I love that.
2 of you are now the heroes to 99 people. And I look generous when I get the appointment for you with Billy Bob and everybody gets lunch. I look like the good guy to all these people.
And you'll never be forgotten. And you set a precedent so that other people can do the same for the networking group. And I'll tell you what, where there's food, there's people. They'll show up, right? If you have a networking event, have some food, y'all. Have some wine or have some punch, whatever. Have something. Have some Krispy Kreme donuts. Since I'm in North Carolina, I have to say that. So, they come from Winston-Salem, right? Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Krispy Kreme donuts. Oh. So Daniel, I love that. I love that. And one thing I love about you that everybody who's watching should know is that Daniel has this perception, or not this perception, but this approach to networking, that it should be the benefit of as many people as possible. It should be a ripple that goes out to the world. And you and I are very, very much the same in that our networking shouldn't be like a grabbing and trying to get something kind of thing. It should be a giving. And that's a perfect example.
And I think even in that context, right, when networking is being done poorly, I don't think it's because people's hearts are in the right place. I don't think it's because their hearts aren't in the right place. I.e., I think people show up wanting to do good in the world, right? They show up wanting to serve, but they don't have a plan for that. They don't have a roadmap. And so it evolves pretty quickly into what I refer to as speed prospecting. When most people call networking, it doesn't even remotely approach networking. It's networking. And which is why my phrase all the time is stop networking and start building relationships that matter. They get stuck in a modality of speed prospecting. And I give many, many talks on that. And if you'll contact me, I'll refer you to plenty of free resources on the internet where I've been featured before that explain that topic in great detail. But I think people want to do well, but they don't know how to make that work. And that's the real thing. They're using the wrong tools in the case of finder's fees, or they're not using the right tools, right, in a lot of ways, and the right questions. Now, here's something that I found very interesting. A mutual friend of ours, I believe the one that introduced me to you, Suzanne Taylor King, referred a book to me called Give and Take by Adam Grant. And in the first chapter, he says something that absolutely blew me away. I never would have guessed this is true. So if you get it right, more props to you for being ahead of the curve. But I did not. I didn't say didn't get it right because it wasn't presented as a quiz. But the point is that I'm going to present it to y'all as a quiz, as it were. Okay. So his point was you can divide people roughly with a few diagnostics into three categories: givers, takers, and people that believe in reciprocity, which is kind of middle of the road. I don't even like the word reciprocity. I like the word mutuality. Come back to that later if we have time. But givers, takers, and middle of the road. Okay. You can also look at people's success in business over time. So if you look at the people in the highest quadrant of success, right, and then you look at, does that quadrant made up of givers, takers, or reciprocal people? Which of those three categories, givers, takers, reciprocal, which is the most likely to be in the highest quadrant of success? Givers, takers, and reciprocal, which do you think is most likely to be in the highest quadrant?
Well, it could be givers, and then reciprocal is my guess.
It's givers. If you look at the lowest quadrant of success, which one is most likely to be in the lowest quadrant of success?
The leeches, the takers.
Givers.
Oh, really?
Because they're giving wrong.
Oh, they're giving too much. Yeah. And not,
they're giving to the wrong people in the wrong places.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
This whole law of reciprocity, number one, I hate the word reciprocity. Number two, it ain't true. We have 6,000 years of recorded history that says bad things happen to good people. We have proof bad things happen to good people. Right. You can't go through life simply radiating goodness and expect it to come. You can do it out of the goodness of your heart, but you can't expect it to come back in a form that makes sense to you unless you're going to the right places to radiate your goodness, right? And or around and with the right people, the people that you can amplify because you believe in your message, right? I agree. I mean, it's in my world. I don't know what time the people listen to this. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday. Do you think this is where I'm normally at 5 o'clock on a Friday, still at the office? No, with all my tech equipment set up to do a live stream, no. Right? If it wasn't Dr. Barnsley Brown, I wouldn't be here, but I'm more than happy to amplify your message and get your message out to the world. Why did you invite me? Because you believe in what I am.
Because I want to amplify your message.
Why did I? Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so you need to be around people who believe in you enough to amplify your message and you believe in enough to amplify theirs. That's where you're going to see the results that you're looking for in terms of attraction and awareness and people leaning in. So,
and we're stronger together, Daniel. So that's the thing, you know, when you had me in to speak to your Ninja Network Building Skills Program participants, by the way, that is Daniel's program. Y'all need to pay attention. It's right up there, Ninja Network Building Skills, fabulous program. When Daniel had me come in to speak to them, one of the things we talked about is it's so good to hear something similar from a different voice, right? It just helps people it provides evidence, it provides credibility for everything that I've been talking about for eons, or you've been talking about, to have someone else bring it in and put it in slightly different terms, but also bring home the points about being givers and giving properly.
And here's an interesting thing, by the way. It happened to me 20 minutes before I got on your call, which is the third time this has happened to me. Got done with a conversation. Somebody that I know, like, and trust already, right? We've already co-created some things together. I won't mention his name. He's very famous. I won't mention his name because I have yet to get his permission to say that I did a 180 on him in about a minute and a half. If he gives me permission, I'll tell the story later. But he's very famous, very well known. And as we're wrapping up, he said, if you'll promote this program, I got an affiliate code for you. And I said, I'm going to go with Billy Bob again, right? I started to use his first name. I said, no, Billy Bob. I said, I don't want one. I'm going to promote it because I believe in the program. I've already registered to attend. So obviously I believe in it. And he said, okay, I just wanted to put that there. And I said, I'm speaking. I said, what are you doing in 45 minutes? He said, why? I said, because I'm going to explain to people why finder's fees are hurting your relationships, or killing your relationship and hurting your business. And he said, I can't be there. I've got another meeting. Give it to me in 90 seconds. And I said, clearly you're not rich from too much business. So obviously that don't work. And he goes, okay, that's a good point. and where I'm headed with this is that when I explained, right, why that doesn't work. And what I said to him is I said, again, started to use his first name. I said, Billy Bob, what I want you to do, if you feel compelled to give away 10%, is create a brand new discount code, not a standard push this button 10% off, a discount code called I know Daniel Andrews 10% off. And everybody that I send, that shows on their invoice. Or the discount code before they register is I know Daniel, thank you very much. And I said, all the pros I know, and this guy is a pro, he's very successful in his world, around relationship building. And he still was missing this, right? Again, because he's so well known for that, I don't want to call him out and point out he was missing the point, because his heart's in the right place. His success over years proves his heart's in the right place. And he's doing a lot of things right. And I said, all the pros that I talk to, that's the first thing they say. Don't give me the 10%, give it to my clients. Because the value in that as a giver, it suits my heart better. I sleep better at night. I said, what am I going to do? Account for all the nickels and dimes you're going to mail me? It ain't worth the bookkeeping effort, right? I said, it's not. And he said, I get it. And then he said what 3 people that I've explained it to said. He immediately said, have you been on my podcast? And will you explain that to my crowd? You were one of the 3. Jada Willis is one of the 3. And this guy says, will you be on my podcast and explain what you just explained to me? Because the whole world needs to hear that, because it's not working the way you want it to. So if you feel compelled to give away that margin, that 3%, that 10%, that 15%, have a system. Right. And Suzanne Taylor King says this, right? Barnsley, if you sent me a referral, I'm going to give them X hours of my time for free because they're your referral. That's kind of like saying, Barnsley, if you send me a customer, when I start to bill them, I'm going to put at the bottom Barnsley Brown, X% off. Right. Don't give it to Barnsley, give it to the person who now glows because she knows Barnsley and got a better deal. And Barnsley's over there. However much money I can send you is not worth the good feeling that you, because you're the right character, would feel inside and go, yeah, I'm doing the right thing for the right people. Right.
So I want to say something though. I'm going to be a little bit contrarian with you, but but I agree with what you're saying. Let me just say it's not transactional, and I would never want to. I would not be an affiliate where I'm sending people to a program unless I do it really well, right, and could totally vouch for it, where I would be getting a commission. And if I were, I would tell them, and I would give it to charity or do something cool with it, like rescue animals, right? Or, whatever. I just tell them that I was getting. And so the times that I have gotten an affiliate, whatever, I just let people know, like I gave somebody my StreamYard link and I'm like, you'll save $10 and I'll save like 20 or something, hey, just take it. And it's automatic. I can't like stop the 20 because they're saving 10 and it's done through StreamYard. But the thing I want to say is that when we become affiliates with people and we invite them to valuable, free workshops and online webinars, this is very different because they're getting to come and they get to have a training completely free. And then if they do go into a program like your Ninja Network Building Skills, or they go into my Make It Happen Mastermind, or they go into something we do, then the person who sent them to the wonderful free training, who's already a hero, would get something. Now,
I would never do it, nor would I accept it. I'm not telling you not to. I'm telling you,
right?
But I'm telling you, it's hurting your relationships. It's hurting your
relationship. But it doesn't have to, Daniel, because, okay, I want to take issue in a second. It doesn't have to, because you could say, and by the way, I get an affiliate something and I'd like to give it to the charity of your choice. There are a lot of ways you could do it.
That is very different than putting it in your pocket, right?
But just sending people to a complimentary training that is good, I love that. And I will do that all the time for people because
Sure,
it's like,
as you should.
yeah,
But I'm saying that if somebody said to me, Dan, I'm doing the free seminar, but I'm going to offer a 5K, 10K, whatever package, and there's a kick in that for you, number one, I would start to question the value of the program, even if I
right.
knew the person. And number two, meaning if it's 10K and you're going to give me 1,000, why is it not 9K? Right. And the other part of that is you've basically said to me, I only expect you to promote it because you get paid.
Oh, no, no,
Now,
no, no,
if
no.
you want to take that same budget and do strategic gifting, that's a different concept altogether and can work well. But when you say to people, if you send people my way, I give you money, you're turning off your very best referral sources. You're damaging the referral source that was there. And if you pay attention, you will find every time that happens, the referrals they give you will trail to nothing very, very quickly. See, they will not produce at an ongoing level for you because for almost everybody on the planet, that is a turnoff. It actually says we're putting a price on the relationship that we're pursuing. And again, this is not an opinion. This is what I've seen happen. I would have thought that offering people an incentive to do something would get better results, right? But it's not true. It
just depends. I think also a very important thing, a very important distinction here is that I certainly see the people who may promote free webinars and seminars that I give. I want them there. Like, I want them to come. They need to know. They need to come and see that it's a good seminar. Like, I'm not going to let people that I don't know well promote it. Let's just put it that way.
Right. You can get the wrong audience altogether.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's going to be like a family for me. A family of people that I really trust and love, and I want to put their stuff out in front of people, because I know how valuable it is. But I would want them to come and be there, and experience it, because otherwise it's just really odd. It would be like me saying, "Oh, you need to go to Chapel Hill Tire," and I've never been to Chapel Hill Tire in my freaking life. It would be fake. But to have people who really know what you provide and really appreciate it, and then to let them send people there, hey, why not?
Okay.
Provided it's free.
So far, so
but
good.
I know, Daniel, provided that piece is free. But what I don't like is
if they know you that well, they're willing to amplify the message, even if they didn't get paid, because that's basically you're telling them you want hanging around you. Then when you pay them, you've devalued the relationship. You're saying it's not as good as you thought it was. It's weird, but it's true. It shouldn't be true, but it's true. And I'll leave her name out of it because I don't know how many other people she has this arrangement with, and I don't want people pestering, right? But there's somebody in my world that we bring mutual value to at such a high rate that rather than trade dollars back and forth and do the accounting, she said to me some months ago, screw it. If I'm doing it, you're invited. And I said, screw it. If I'm doing it, you're invited. Doesn't matter what I'm charging anybody else. You've earned the right to get all the value I can bring to the world, because we are so dialed into each other's offers and feel so good about the other person, not just their character, but their philosophy of business, which are two different things, and what they offer, which is a third thing, that we're like, you know what, all we would do is end up trading the same $10,000 in referral fees back and forth all year, but get that. Right. If I'm hosting it, if I charge everybody else, I don't charge you. If you charge other people, I expect to show up at no charge, because we're at that level. That is very different than simply saying, oh, well, you brought me three $10,000 programs. Here's your 3,000, but I brought you two, so I need two back. So, if you've got the people that are your champions without money, it makes it worse when you bring money into the picture. It's weird.
Internet marketers do this a lot, and one thing I really object to, Daniel, is these people sending stuff to their list just because you can tell they're just promoting it because they want, whatever, a kickback. And so I'm really agreeing with you in many ways in that, I don't ever want that to happen. I don't want to be, someone sending stuff out who I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am. We wouldn't get together on a Friday afternoon and talk, no. That feels very strange and very, what's the word that comes to mind? Prostitution.
Transactional.
Let's use
a slightly less inflammatory word and say transactional.
Yeah, but we're on both badass business owners. We speak it like it is. So, and so I believe that, it really is about relationship ultimately, you know. And I
Correct.
like that. I love that thing that you're saying, that when people have earned that right to be in your space, you're just like, come do the thing. And
Right.
or you just say, hey, come, come here and let me do a seminar for your people, right?
There's a lot of ways
See,
to
that would
co-create.
be something, by the way, that were you to become, we don't have to call it an affiliate, but were you to send people to my free webinar and somebody signed up, then I would be like, well, let me come do, and you don't need to give me an honorarium. I'll come do something for your ninja people.
There we go.
That's,
Yes,
and I,
absolutely.
by the way, I'd already thought about that, Daniel,
But
because
that
I
goes
was like,
back to the
that's not what
question
I
that
want to do.
that goes back to the question that we ask people. And again, by the way, I'm not over here preaching a philosophy that that I can't prove, right? We ask people,
Yeah.
they literally don't want the money. They want you to reciprocate.
They want
Right.
you to reciprocate.
If I, and Scott threw in the comments, which is a legitimate comment. I have seen profit share, and Scott,
Oh,
I
I
think
haven't seen Scott's comment. Oh,
if you
Lord.
got here late,
Read it
Scott,
first.
we did point out two things. There's 3 types of revenue share. 2, I think, are constructive. By the way, I'm not talking ethics. I'm not talking about philosophy or whether you're a good person inside. I'm talking about literally what works and what doesn't. Okay. And by the way, on my questionnaire, I did offer others. Somebody could have said cash and a good referral, but they didn't. Nobody said that. They said they either want recognition through a short text or email, or they want reciprocation. They actively don't want the money. And that's all I'm pointing out. And if you say, I've got a relationship so great, if that's that great, we could bring money into it. Well, the statistics show, the responses show, you're actually subtracting from that relationship at that point. You're actually decreasing the value in that relationship. And you can do it. I won't tell you not to do it. I will tell you that if you survey enough people, you'll find that it's not working almost all of the time. Yeah. And there are some cases, Scott, where some form of finder's fee on a consistent basis can make a lot of sense. Right. And but I will say this, and I got this from Steve Swear, like the word swear, but Swear, 2 E's. He's very famous on LinkedIn. He's a great speaker. He has a lot of knowledge. He gives away a lot of what I charge money for free. So start with him and save your money, right? But he taught me something. He took the time, right, to mentor somebody that was not as aware as he was. And he said, this is a critical factor. Trust, right, has several components. But he calls the trust quotient, the components of trust, which if we have a minute, I'll elaborate, but that's not the point. The trust quotient, by definition, a quotient is one thing divided by another thing. And I'll admit we're applying mathematical words like quotient to emotional concept like trust, but stick with me. If I could get my camera thing to work, I would diagram this for you. But the trust quotient is trust, the components of trust, and I can talk about that if Barnsley asks me to in a minute. Trust above the line divided by apparent self-interest. So the minute the notion that I'm getting paid to send a lead to Barnsley enters that person's head, the trust between me and them and me and Dr. Barnsley goes down because the self-interest factor goes up. Let's consider the composite or the obverse, right? I send somebody to you, you give me 10%, I take it. They become your client, or they get in your world and they become a key referral partner. And you say, hey, if you give me, a business, I'll give you 10%. And they go, oh, that's great. And about a day or two later, they go, huh, did Dan get 10% of what?
Yes, right.
And now all my future introductions are suspect. Now, what's the reverse? Hey, I told Daniel so long ago that because he doesn't waste my time giving me lame introductions, that I can get the deal done in one conversation, that if he brings me an introduction, it saves me so much time that I'm going to give the people he introduces to me, if they take what I offer, $1,000 off. And about 2 days later, he's going to go, Dan could have gotten that money and he didn't. And he also thinks Dr. Barnsley could have kept that money and she didn't. My cred goes up. Your cred goes up.
Well, it's integrity.
About what you can get away with. I'm talking about flip it and see if it works out better in your favor if you flip it. That's all.
And it's integrity. I think, what we're really talking about is what feels like it has integrity. So I just would tell somebody, by the way, I don't get anything by suggesting you go to this person, right? because I've used their program and it really helped me. I just will speak it like that. And if I do get something, I will share that too. Like with the StreamYard thing. I mean, it's just an example. You at the corporations, you get, like
but number one, it's $10, right? And number
well, they
two,
get
right?
$10 off and I get 20, right? And
Okay.
I've also had situations where I'll do something like, oh, you know what? I can bring a second person for free with a friend. So I'd like to offer you a half price ticket. We'll split it. And then I'll, would you like
Sure.
that? And
But it's
so
because
we'll
of
do
your
stuff like that.
connection to the community, right? That you can do that.
It's my
right?
connection that gets that, or
Exactly.
get them free tickets to stuff. So really,
Sure.
this is about just having
Right.
I think having
As
that
opposed to charging them
honest
full price for tickets so
relationship.
that you go for free, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly,
Integrity
right.
says you split the cost or you pay full
Daniel, I'm
price and
about to
let
go
them
on the
come for free.
podcasters cruise, and maybe I shouldn't say this on here because they might see it, but I know that the way cruises work, because I've spoken on some cruises, right? I paid my way to go on the cruise. Now I had books and stuff that people purchased, so my cruise got paid for, right? But it wasn't like I was being paid to go on there. But I know there are people that with the travel agents, they have enough cabins. Guess who goes free? The travel agent,
And I get
their
that because
spouse,
that's
the
kind
other
of the
person.
industry they're in. But the last time I was putting together a cruise, I said, when we cross the threshold, when we start to get free cabins, right? If it's 9 paid and 1 goes free, I said, we're recalculating everybody's cost. I said, I'm paying the
Nice.
same rate as everybody else.
Or you
Because
do a special night at one of those specialty restaurants.
I said, everybody's going to pay the same price, including me, because I don't want anybody to think I put this together so that I could go on a cruise for free. I said,
listen, let's do it. Let's do a cruise. Let's do a networking cruise. I'm so excited
yeah.
about that.
We can leave out of Charleston. Yes. Yep. Next fall. Leave on
so
Thursday,
that'll
back on
only
Monday.
be to the Bahamas, though. If we go out
I
of
don't even get off the
Charleston.
boat. The point's not where you go. You drive. You could drive around Charleston Harbor for 3 days for all I care. The point is,
you're not getting off the boat. Look, I had more fun snorkeling in the Bahamas. I loved it. I'm so excited. I'm getting to go
I'm not saying you should.
snorkeling again.
Everybody got off the boat. I'm like, finally, the hot tub's empty. The bars are empty, right? Here's the main reason. It's 100% tax deductible. That's the main reason.
Exactly. If you have
100%.
enough of you have to have a certain amount of professional development. And of course,
Cocktail
it needs
reception
to be good.
the first night.
Hey, I want to speak on it.
Night. Trust me.
Daniel, I want to speak. I want to speak on there. And the cool thing is, like, when I went, I was meeting people all over. When I was speaking on this cruise that was for a women's group, I was meeting people all over the ship. So I was inviting them to come to presentations and they were buying my books. So my cruise was paid for, but because I was being a giver and I was bringing more people in to the group, which is good for everybody. Women, because it was a women's group. But anyway, so Scott, I like what you put up there about, the profit share. Definitely sometimes it does work well. And, one of the most interesting things I saw recently, and it can apply to profitable businesses too, is I saw a nonprofit that I was volunteering for called Note in the Pocket, Daniel. And they really provide beautiful outfits. They carefully go through everything. It is not crap. And do 2 weeks of outfits for kids who otherwise wouldn't have new clothes for school.
Right.
Very powerful. And they have this arrangement with a textile company, because guess what? I took like 4 big bags of crap that wasn't good enough, and we just throw them into the textile company bin. They take it and they haul it off for the nonprofit and they turn it into stuff. How great a sharing is that? And the other thing is, when there was new stuff, like we found some new designer stuff that people threw into these bags of stuff they were donating. Those things go to a consignment store, and the consignment store then gives the money back to Note in the Pocket so they can buy new underwear and new socks, because nobody wants to wear somebody's underwear or socks, right? So that they always have new underwear and new socks for these kids. Such a beautiful, y'all look it up, Note in the Pocket. I'm just going to put it right here. It's in Raleigh, based out of Raleigh, NC. I went and volunteered with my women business owners, and I was so impressed. They have this year provided 2 weeks of outfits, including the new underwear, new socks, including the shoes and everything, for almost 10,000 kids who otherwise would be bullied because they don't have nice clothes at school, or they wouldn't want to go to school, right?
So
Note in the Pocket. So that's a great example of a partnership that certainly it's profitable for the textile company, but it's also profitable for Note in the Pocket because they don't have to haul this crap out,
And again, co-creation, right?
Yeah.
This guy has a service, right, where he gets paid by fast food restaurants to go around and offload the used cooking oil. But he also has a process where he can convert it into fuel for his pickup truck, right? That's co-creation.
We have a bus like that here.
That's joint. That's co-creation. That's bringing value to them by not taking it, right? But it's different, which is different than a finder's fees, right? So my point is, when I talk about the one in the middle, right, the finder's fee, and I say this is good and that's good. If you want to start to blur the edges and go, yeah, but it's good. Well, yeah, that's because you got to the edge and then blurred the edges, right? The simple act of you send me a 10K client, I send you money back. It'll work for a little while, but even the people that we're sending you those will stop. Because it feels weird to them. So that's really the distinction I want to make. There's thousands of ways people can work together where everybody comes out ahead.
I love that. So I can't believe this, Daniel. Always when we talk, the time goes fast. It just goes like that, right? And it's already, my God, we're already at 55 minutes. So we got to start to wrap. But what I would like to do is I would like to tell you all again that Ninja Network Building Skills is an awesome program of Daniel's that you will definitely want to check out. And Daniel, what's your website so I can pop it up here for everyone?
Thanks. And I'm going to type it in there for you. I can't comment for some reason, but I'm going to put my website in there right now. So, yep.
Well, I'll just put, if you tell me what it is, and it's good to say it aloud because it doesn't go into
the sure, I will. No, it's not a problem, but I did put it in the private chat so you can repost. Okay. Here's the fun part. My full name is the same as that of a bombastic Australian parliamentarian. And so you can't Google my name and find me. You literally cannot Google my name and find me, but you can use my full name as a URL and you can find me. So www or https:// right now to start a web address, Daniel Patrick Andrews.com.
Got it.
Just like the name says on the screen with the middle name of Patrick, like St. Patrick.
Daniel Patrick
Andrews.com.
Yeah.
And you can work it down from
DanielPatrickAndrews.com, but don't Google him because you get the bombastic politician. So I love that word bombastic. That's a great word. That's today's word, bombastic.
He used to be the premier.
Wait, I just said bombasket. I just said bombasket instead of bombastic. That's funny. It's Friday afternoon. So Daniel, I know you want to give people something free. So really fast, lay it on us, like really fast, because we got just like 2 minutes here. You want to give them something special? Like an ebook, a report you have, anything? A discount?
But I don't know how to here we go. Here's the free offer. I don't do drip campaigns. I don't do emails. If you ever register with me, you will never hear from me again because I believe you need to want me and I don't chase you. Okay. So when we say something free, my coach would cringe right about here and probably hit me with that sword if he could be here. I don't do lead magnets, guys. I give value because I think value is worthwhile. If you get to my website, figure out how to book a 15-minute call with me, I will then spend 15 minutes with you. And I will also give you a link to a video that I've produced online that I normally charge $150 for. And I'll give you a free code. I'll give you a promo code where you can get it for free. It's the 2 questions you absolutely have to ask in order to build a key referral partner relationship. We didn't really spend any time talking about it today, but that's my standard giveaway. It's a video that I charge $150 for. I'll give it to you free. If you figure out how to get to me in 15 minutes, and maybe your whole 15 minutes is, hey, Dan, play the video for me. Okay. That's fine. Here we go.
The video is great, by the way, y'all. I've seen the video. It's great. So go to DanielPatrickAndrews.com and book your complimentary 15-minute call. Notice I said complimentary because we shouldn't say free.
I don't charge for that.
Though I do love the word free because I like to joke that it's my favorite 4-letter word.
You might have to work for it. It's not dead center on the website. You're going to have to find it. But if you can find how
you're going to have to find it. Okay. Y'all got to find this.
My coach is dying inside because I don't do lead magnets and I make it hard to reach me, but I don't mean to.
But you do a lead magnet because guess what, Daniel? You have a complimentary session for people that is offering something. Sure. That is a lead magnet.
But I promise I won't sell you anything. I promise.
Very quickly, you all. I want to tell you also, here's the cool thing. If you'd like a complimentary session with yours truly, Dr. Barnsley Brown, and you want me to kick your butt very lovingly, but very clearly and directly, and you want some results, then go to my website and grab the Get Results Now complimentary session. There's also a complimentary report on overcoming overwhelm and 7 easy steps. These are all our gifts that we want to give you. And guess what? Daniel didn't get paid for coming on here, and I don't get paid for doing this show, just so you know. Down the road, I'd love to have sponsors, because I spend a lot of time on this. But the reason I do it, you all, the reason I do it, and I want everyone to really get this, and I get teary when I talk about it, is I want people in business to be prosperous. I want your children to see you prosperous, see you prospering, right? And see you having a sustainable business so they don't have to work for someone else unless they want to be an employee. Right? This is about freedom for me. And especially for women, it's about freedom for me because I watched my mother struggle as a single mom while she was married. Okay. You want to know that? We'll talk about it another time. But time is up, y'all. We've gone right 60 minutes, so we got to stop. But thank you, Daniel, for coming. You are amazing. Thank you for slowing down and speaking like the Southerner you are. And next week, bold, badass business owners will be right back here at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and we are going to have an amazing guest. Thanks for tuning in. Comment, share. Thanks for commenting, Scott. You got 3 shout outs because you're awesome. And I'll see you next week, you all, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. Bye.